YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back, recapping Sunday's action of Week 4 of the NFL. Obviously, Monday night still needs to be played. Chiefs, Broncos. I predict the score at the end of this video. Slightly changed the score prediction since my last score prediction for that game, but we'll get to that. Recapping all Sunday's games here. It was a pretty good football Sunday. A lot of action. The NFL continues to bring us high-scoring games. Is that because of lack of defense? Is that because the new penalties? Speaking of the penalties, the roughing the passer stuff, they really cut down on it this week. That's the good thing. There was a really bad roughing the passer. I think everyone knows which one I'm talking about. We'll talk to it when we get to that game. But besides that one, not too much of that. But I still think there's issues. I think along with the roughing the passer so far this season, they've also allowed more holding on pass plays, and I think it's to protect the quarterback. And I think they're going to continue that. And I think the offensive linemen know it too. There is some bad holding. There's guys getting wrapped up and tackled. I've seen it all year, but it's kind of noticeable now more since they kept that in. But they're trying to eliminate the roughing the passer penalties, the new ones at least, for the most part. But we only got through one week with a cut down of those, so we'll see if it continues. But another big issue is a lot of flags being picked up, and I always hated when that happened. A ref throws a flag because he sees something, and they have a discussion. So many long discussions for refs this year too. It's only week 4, and they end up taking it away. I want to know what goes on in those conversations. A ref sees a holding, he throws the flag, and all of a sudden they get together and are like, all right, we can't call holding. Like, what's the conversation? And they pick it up. I saw holding, but we're gonna take it away because it's. There's some situations where it's you're not really sure, I guess, the ref. Like a play like holding, like you saw holding, so you threw the flag. It's weird, So there's some interesting calls here and there. There was a lot of interesting calls in a specific game. I mean, we'll get there. Let's just start recapping the games. Enough of that. We recapped Thursday night pretty much already. Vikings Rams, good game. Close game. Rams get a good win on Thursday nights. Jared Goff is legit, looks very good. That receiving unit's very good. That play calling, that offense in general is good. The Vikings not looking too good this year, but at the same time, they did play the best team in football, and they put up a fight. For Vikings fans out here, I mean, this is what you got to take. I'm a Vikings fan too. This is what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. Hopefully, it's legit. I don't know. Maybe it's a bunch of gibberish, but you played the best team in football. You could have won the game. At the same time, your defense playing very bad. The defense did not play good. The offensive line's not good. Those sound like bad things, but you could have won the game with all those things going wrong. You got to be confident that at least that Zimmer can figure out the defense going forward. So you being in that game away, you could take positives away from that. I think that's the best the Rams can play. Maybe not defensively. They were missing Aqib Talib, but the Vikings are missing Everson Griffin. They had some lineman injury. Nick Easton, their center's just coming back. So I think that's around where the Rams can play, their best of their ability. The Vikings, I don't think that's anywhere near, and they still could have won the game. So I guess that's a positive. That's at least what I'm telling myself. So hopefully that's true for their sake. Bengals, Falcons, what a game. What a game. The Bengals offense, the team that's like struggled to keep their offense going in the past years, pretty much with the same coaching staff, the same offense almost. It's nice to see. The offense has really been going. Is that because the offense is getting better? Is it because the lack of defenses in the NFL? Is it because the penalties that made the defenses worse in the NFL? Is it because the Falcons have so many injuries? We need to see more of the Bengals, but their offense has been doing good. They put up points against the Ravens defense, who look pretty good too. So, the game could have went either way. Obviously, it came down to the end. Falcons had a pretty good Matt Ryan still playing pretty good at the end where they had to kick a field goal. He had Hooper open for a wide open touchdown, overthrew him. So, good game, but he missed one there. Both teams, the wide receiver unit for both teams is just excellent, and it showed in this game. Finally, Sanu got going. Calvin Ridley still got his touchdowns. Julio Jones obviously going to get yards, but Ridley gets those touchdowns because there were so many teams are worried about Julio. And the same thing happened for the Bengals. AJ Green gets that last second touchdown. The reason he gets that is because guys like Boyd and Ross are playing good. They did a really, if those guys aren't there, if like Boyd's not there, it made it so much harder for AJ Green to get a touchdown like that at the end. He's the best player out there for the Bengals. And, you want to double cover him, but then they're bringing in young talent receivers like Boyd and Ross, and it's just, the Bengals been doing a good job drafting. Even though the defense didn't play so good, but they've been getting some young talent there. So good job. Receiving unit, excellent receiving unit showed really for both teams. Andy Dalton's having a heck of a year so far. The game they lost against the Panthers threw 4 picks, but even in that game, besides those picks, he was pretty solid. So I think he's having a pretty good year. Gio Bernard had a heck of a game. Won't show on the stat sheet maybe. I think he had around 70 yards rushing, which is good in today's NFL. But he had a monster game, breaking tackles like crazy. I think he got in the end zone a couple times. Looked like the old Gio Bernard. Very hard runner. Fun to watch. So, yeah, that was a good one. It's unfortunate for the Falcons. Would they have won if they didn't have so many injuries on defense? Maybe they would have. It's just unfortunate. And Freeman's been out too. So it's just unfortunate for the Falcons. I thought they were a very good team this year, and I think they would have been, and they still can be. But if it wasn't for the injuries, I think they would be sitting at a much better record. So good win for the Bengals. They're impressive this year. Bears. The Bears win 48-10 against the Bucks. Trubisky throws for 6 touchdowns. Never thought I would say that. Trubisky has not been looking good early in the season, and all of a sudden he pulls 6 touchdowns out of nowhere. And it's impressive to do. You don't want to take anything away from that because it's hard to get 6 touchdowns in a game. But that Buccaneers secondary is just terrible. It's bad. And I predicted before the season, the Bucs to be one of the worst teams in football, and it was kind of because the defense, but mainly because the secondary. And they're starting. I don't know if they'll be the worst team, one of the worst teams in football, but they're starting to show that they possibly could just take a dive and end up being down there. And the offense is showing they can get things going at times early in the year, so that can keep them in some games. But it's a little bit of a messy situation. It's a good thing it's a very good thing they got the bye coming up here, but it's not looking good for the Bucs. That's the worst secondary in football. The Bears had excellent game planning in this game. Tariq Cohen is such a weapon as a receiving back, really, that I think that kind of stuck in the Bucs' head, and then it got other guys open downfield as well. So they really didn't know what to do. It's really, really what it was. So I'm guessing Winston's going to be the guy going forward. We'll see. I think expected the Bucs to score more points, but the Bears' pass rush is so good that it makes the secondary good. Even when Mac's not really getting at the quarterback, he's still in their minds. He's still in Fitzpatrick's head, and that's a factor. Is he coming? Is he coming to get me? So, and the guy's is all over the place. He's been not only the best defensive player in football, he may be the best player in all of football so far. And just it shows what one player. I mean, a lot of other guys are playing great, but it shows what one player can do for a team. So big time, impressive win for the Bears. Both the Bears and the Bucs have a bye week coming up. So good thing for the Bucs. It's not a bad thing for the Bears, but I think you rather keep rolling because they're feeling it right now. They actually they should be 4-0 really. They should have beat the Packers. But they're looking pretty good at 3-1. Lions and Cowboys, another great game. Lions had this one till the end. Excellent last drive by Dak. I'm kind of just fast forwarding to the end here because that's just what I want to talk about. But Dak had an excellent last drive. There was a bad snap. He that could have been disastrous. Made something happen there, and then the throw to Zeke down the sideline was just perfect and great job by Zeke. He really wasn't that open either, so good catch, great throw. I think it was Jared Davis. I think he was on him pretty well, maybe a step behind him, but that's what you get from a linebacker. Not bad. That was the play of the game. That was the play of the game. They got the field goal. I really thought he was gonna miss that field goal. I thought it was gonna be a moment where everybody was like, oh, they should have kept Dan Bailey. I really thought that was coming. But, he made it easily. Great game kick in there. And we see why that they didn't need Dan Bailey anymore. The Lions, they played well in this game. Stafford played pretty well. Golden Tate had a monster game, big-time game, celebrating before he gets in the end zone a couple times. I like that. Kerryon Johnson's legit. They need to get him more carries. The guys, he's their running back. He's their number one running back. He's legit for sure. TJ Lang got hurt in this one, but the Lions, I think, offensive line was still playing pretty solid. They just struggle to stop the run, and we've been talking about that. Last year, we talked about that in the offseason. We talked about it in our predictions video that Zeke's going to have a big game because the Lions can't stop the run. I still thought the Lions would win, though. They get a little more offense going. There was something earlier in the game. Golden Tate caught the ball. I don't think he caught it, actually. It was reviewed. To me, when the ball's on the ground while the guy's catching it, that's always been a drop. That's just how I always learned football. And I'm not talking about the stupid catch rule that they fixed, the broken rule where the guy catches it on his back, rolls over, then it hits the ground. I'm not talking about like something like that. He caught it, and then the ball was on the ground. I don't think he had firm control of it. One hand, the palm of his hand was bouncing on the ball, so it clearly wasn't gripping it. The fingertips were lightly touching it. It's not a huge issue. Cowboys still won. It wasn't that big of a deal, but just small stuff like that. With they don't really know. I don't think the NFL they don't really know. To me, that's a clear drop. Other people will probably think otherwise, but it didn't really end up mattering. But it was a good game. Lions got a big game against the Packers coming up. Cowboys 2-2. It sounds funny, but the difference between 2-2 and 1-3 at this point is just huge. It sounds funny because it's only a 1 game difference, but it is huge. So that's a big win for them. I'm glad to see they got Dak going at the end there. The offense going. They definitely need another receiver. Everyone knows that, but we'll see what they got going forward. On some other games, the Bills 0, the Packers 22. Rodgers really didn't play a good game in this one. The offense, he even said himself, the offense didn't play a good game, but here's the good thing. They still won 22-0 while not being on their game, so that's a good thing, really. But yeah, I don't know. Rodgers really wasn't on. I think he was somewhere around 50% completion. Almost had a pick six. Ryan Lewis, I think, dropped it. He was trying to throw in traffic, really wasn't on target. Bills secondary is pretty good. They got a good blitz package, but, the good thing is they still won the game 22-0. The Packers defense was excellent. They made Josh Allen really confused. How about when he turned around and right into the Packers defender? I'm not sure who it was, but he just turned around and just ran right into him, got sacked. That was pretty bad on Josh Allen's part. Looked like he didn't know what to do in the pocket there. It's an impressive game for the Packers defense, really. And the Clay Matthews sack was funny because he really let off, went to the side of the player. It might have been a half a sack because of what he did. A year ago, that would have been a full sack for him, but he really let off. And I thought that was pretty funny. So, good win for the Packers, 22-0. We kind of expected that one. Eagles-Titans, maybe the game of the week. One of the games of the week. Great game. Where do I begin with this one? I thought both quarterbacks had a really good game. Mariota had a really good game. He had a lot of crucial drops from his targets. Jonnu Smith had a bad one. There was one at the end too. Darius Jennings, I believe it was, in overtime. Terrible drop. There was some bad drops. Mariota was very good under pressure, very good moving in the pocket, finding guys downfield in a hurry. I think he had an excellent game. Besides the pick, they got the ball with like 20 something, maybe 30 seconds left before half, and they were like insisting that they were going to get points, and they ended up throwing a terrible pick, and then that got the Eagles points. So besides that, I think he had a really good game. This is the difference in the game. I think everyone's going to say Mariota, which he had a good game. Corey Davis's catch at the end. But that Titans pass rush had a day. It got some sacks, but it got a lot of QB hurries on Wentz, and it forced them to kick field goals or them to stop them on third down. And Harold Landry, one of my favorite players from the draft, still can't believe he went in the second round, got a strip sack. Bright future for him. He's already playing well. The Titans pass rush had a heck of a game. The Eagles, once again, run defense. They got the best run defense in football. Really shut down the two Titans running backs. Overall, Titans defense is pretty solid. Their secondary can be beat, but the pass rush and the run stopping really helps those guys out. So, two impressive defenses. I thought Wentz did pretty good with the pressure being brought to him. Alshon Jeffrey had a good. Here's the thing, though. The Eagles kind of kept going to that goal line fade. They're really not the goal line. It was red zone fade maybe to Alshon. They're kind of insisting on that. Alshon had a good game. I mean, it was working at times, but they went to it too much. It'd be like third down. Like, you could extend the drive by getting a first down, but instead you do that. I think that happened towards the end of the game. I think the Titans could have put the game away. They had a second down. They did a screen pass to Corey Davis. Pretty good play. Ended up being a 3rd and 3. They did a screen pass to Corey Davis again. They could have put the game away, and they did not. So then they punt the ball to the Eagles. The Eagles get a great return. And then the Eagles, I think, could have scored a touchdown on this drive. They end up having a 3rd down. I think they went to a goal line fade instead of extending the drive, or they just wanted to get the touchdown there. So I don't know about the play calling for the Eagles in this one. And so they kicked the field goal, ends up going to overtime. Jay Ajayi's running all over him at that point. Didn't really get anywhere the whole game. He's running all over him. I'm thinking this game's over. This game's definitely over. They're scoring a touchdown. Get down there. Similar situation. They have 3rd down. I think they have a better opportunity to extend the drive. They kind of go for the field goal. Maybe they're thinking that they trust their defense. There's not that much time left. And then the Titans to convert 2 4th down. One was pass interference or holding on the defense. Right call. There was 2 options they could have called it. So right call. So that keeps extending it. Mariota really extending. He had a couple off throws during the overtime, but he really kept extending it. Very good job moving in the pocket. And then the big play, I think it was Deion Lewis. Everyone was talking about they missed a block in the back. I like the no block in the back call. Well, first off, it was in the side. There's some refs, they see a side hit, they will not call it. It needs to be a block in the back. But I understand, I've played, I've gotten hit like in the side when a guy, you cannot see the guy coming. He comes from your back, right in your backside, and it's kind of that side towards the back. I think this is okay. I think he was kind of coming from his front side, and he hit him in the side. I like the no call. I like the no call because I don't want to change the game too much off that. If he came from his back or he hit him in the back, you got to call it. But I really like the no call here. I know it's a little tough. And then Corey Davis's catch to win the game, for them going all out. They want to win this game. I respect that a lot. I like that a lot from Vrabel. So they got some balls. Titans got some balls. They got some good football players. Pretty balanced team, like I predicted in the beginning or before the season. Their only loss is the Dolphins with the delay in that game and the messy situation with the injuries. They have Delanie Walker out. They need Delanie Walker. I don't know about Jonnu Smith. Not looking too good. But big win for them. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a real good one. Then Taylor Lewan after the game, he went up to Corey Davis while he was being interviewed. And he was swearing on live TV. You gotta love that. That guy's a character. Texans Colts, another great one. 2 AFC South teams. Good offensive game. Really no running game though. All throwing. Andrew Luck had a great game. But the player of this game was Jadeveon Clowney. The guy was everywhere. He was everywhere. Every time this game's on, you see it on. You just see him. And the Texans are on defense. Even though the Colts scored 34 points, they could have scored much more if it wasn't for him, the game he had. So it does sound kind of funny having a defensive player that was the biggest impact of that game. But the touchdown the Texans got on defense, really, they didn't do much. Bad snap by Ryan Kelly. So, that was very crucial. Colts could have won the game if it wasn't for that. So I don't know. You're running shotgun there. It's pretty risky. I don't know if I run shotgun there, but that's the center's got to snap that right. I don't know what happened there. But then you think the Texans got it won. You really think they got it won, but then it ends up going to overtime. Well, let's back it up a little bit. Before overtime, starting to remember stuff. The Colts score. There's about 8 minutes left, if I remember correctly, and they go for 2. I understand why they're going for 2 because that if they convert the 2-point conversion, it makes it a 3-point game. So I understand. All right. But both teams are moving the ball on the field pretty quickly. There's a lot of time. There's like about 8 minutes left, if I remember. So you go for 2, you don't get it. So you're down by 5. And this is where I don't agree with it because there was too much time. The Texans go get a field goal. You're down 8. At the end of the day, the Colts scored and got the 2-point conversion, tied it up at 8. But I still don't agree with it. I did not agree with that at the time and still don't. I understand why, though, because they were trying to get down by 3, but I think there was too much time in that type of game. But it didn't really matter. Goes to overtime, and then the Colts get a field goal, Texans get a field goal. And then when the Texans as they're kicking the field goal, I'm going, this is why overtime's stupid now. It's always been stupid, but they reduced the time, and it's set up so the team that wins the toss not only gets the advantage because they get the ball first, they can put the game away instantly, but they also get the opportunity to get the ball twice if both teams run a little bit of clock, while the other team that lost the toss gets the ball only once. So at that point, I'm saying how stupid it is because the Colts get the advantage twice because they won the toss. They get the ball a second time, and then they go ahead and lose the game still with like not that much time left. So that kind of was funny that I was kind of getting mad over the overtime because the Texans weren't going to get another shot, but the Colts were, but the Texans got the shot, got the field goal. I mean, do I really disagree with the Colts going for it on fourth down? I mean, I understand you don't want to tie. You know, you got to respect them going for it. From the Colts' perspective, you know, I don't really disagree with it because you can't really be tying. You got to go out there and win games, especially against a division game, especially against the Texans. You know, you got the Titans and the Jags you got to catch up to. They're in front of you. They got pretty good teams. You got to go out and win games when you have an opportunity. So I completely understand it. But from the Texans side, it's pretty much like, thanks. Can't believe we just won that. We just got a free field goal. So from that point of view, it kind of looks bad, but I can't really disagree with it too much. Overall, good game. Luck had a good game. Kiki Kute stepped up for the Texans, the receiver draft pick out of Texas Tech. Pretty impressive. Him and Will Fuller, that's still speedy guys. And then got DeAndre Hopkins. You know, looks good. They need an offensive line. They need to play some better defense, though, maybe in the secondary. On to the next game. Patriots romped the Dolphins. Romp, is that a good word? 38-7. Yeah, really not much going on this one besides the Patriots they were feeling it. You know, I thought the Dolphins defense looked good this year. You can't rule them out after one game, obviously, especially playing the Patriots in New England, but disappointing from the Dolphins defense because you're talking about the Patriots. Everyone's talking about the Patriots. They don't have any receivers. They need receivers. They get Josh Gordon. Yeah, he played in the game, but Philip Dorsett had a pretty good game. That catch in the end zone was fantastic. Cordell Patterson, Dolphins couldn't tackle him. He was getting wide open. The guy can't even run routes, even though he's very, very athletic, very good football player. Guy can't really run routes. So maybe missing Hayes is that takes that much out of him. I don't know. Not a good game from them. You can't even take advantage of the run game, which you can do well against the Patriots because you get down so fast. They're not a come-from-behind team. You know, I mean, if they're down 7, 10, maybe 14, yeah, sure, but not like this. It's not a team built to come from behind, no way. But they're a pretty, I think, balanced team. You know, they could bounce back from this, but big win from the Patriots. The Sony Michel, heck of a game. That's the guy I've been waiting to see. James White had a good game, too. Like I said, the receivers, Tom Brady. Gronk did go to the locker room with the injury. And then stopping them 7 points is actually pretty impressive for that Patriots defense. So good game to them. Like to see them bounce back. See what they got next for us. Jets and Jags, 31-12. Really, I'm not going to talk a whole bunch about this one. Kind of what we expected here. Bortles had a heck of a game. I expected Jets defense to be a little better. I know the Jags are better than them, but Bortles had a really good game. That throw to Moncrief, I think it was. Excellent throw. Fournette hurt once again. What else is new? Or maybe it's the same injury, but it's just unfortunate. But Yeldon plays pretty good when you need him. Jags defense, being the Jags defense. There's a shortage on defenses now. There's a real shortage on defenses. Not too many playing well. The Jags, the Bears, and there's a couple. Ravens, we'll talk about the Ravens in a little bit. But a lot of bad defenses, but the Jags still hanging on there. But they did play the Jets. So not much to cover on that game. Moving on. Browns and Raiders. What a game. 45-42 final. I can't believe the Raiders won this game. Starts in the beginning. Baker's first pick six. Garyon Conley, great pick six. But do you put this all on Baker? No, I don't put all this one on Baker. Maybe a little bit. Receiver looked like he was falling. Maybe he was a little out of reach. Can't put it all on Baker. Rookie. It just happens as a rookie. The last interception, I put that on Baker. Just underthrown. It actually could have been a touchdown. Could have been if he threw it far enough. But then early on, we had Arden Key roughing the passer. We thought we were getting through this. Looking at Thursday's game, there's not an opportunity to call it. Maybe there's less opportunities. Maybe that's the only reason why they're not being called, because players are scared. And like I said, I know they're allowing holding more in pass plays. And then soon as there's a big run, unless it's like the first or second play of the game, they'll throw a holding flag because they haven't called one so long because all the pass plays they're not calling them on. If somebody else has to notice this. Maybe not this specific game, but a lot of games. But anyways, the roughing the passer on Arden Key, complete BS. But I'll tell you exactly what happened here. The ref was not even looking. He was not even looking. Baker gets hit by, everybody saw what happened. Baker got hit from Arden Key. Then the ref looks after the hit. What's happening when he looks? Baker's signaling for flag because he's Baker, whatever. And Arden Key's got his hands up in the air like, I didn't do anything. I don't know why he's doing that. And the ref throws the flag. So, I mean, Arden Key shouldn't put his hands up like that, but that's just uncalled for, unacceptable by the refs. They're losing their minds, basically. They're just losing it. And that was not even the worst part about this game. The worst part about this game was two things that really screwed the Browns over. I think the Browns should have won this game, and the Browns could be 4-0. They really should. They should be 4-0, and it's a shame. But anyways, we got the Derek Carr. He clearly fumbled the ball. And that would have been a touchdown for the Browns. Now, what happened here for the refs? Did they actually not see the ball, which is bad, very bad? Or it's just, as soon as Derek Carr, the second he gets hit, he fumbled his ball, and they're running in there blowing the whistle. Like, what is going through those refs' mind? Like, I don't know. I don't want to say what I'm thinking. It's sketchy, basically. That's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So it's just the refs are deciding games more than the players lately. Like a play like that changes the entire game. We know 1 point matters in this game in a lot of games. One single point, and they're costing the team 7 points here. A swing in the game. Unacceptable, really. Later in the game, Carlos Hyde gets a first down. Yes, it's very, very close. His elbow did hit. It is so close. If he is short, it's a centimeter, an inch, maybe. And then they never overturn these things. They never overturn. They decided to overturn it in this situation. They even brought what's his name, the expert, the ex-official on television there on live TV, and he said there's no way they reverse it. They reversed it. It's pretty interesting, They never reverse those things. So that's what sticks in my head. And then the Raiders go on and win this game. Not to take anything away from them. They had a good game. Marshawn ran for a lot of yards. Derek Carr was making some good throws. Jared Cook was phenomenal. Baker, I mean, if you look at the stats, he threw 2 picks. He threw about 50%. Not too good, but he made some big plays here and there. He's able to move around the pocket, so pretty impressive. Nick Chubb finally showed up. He got the opportunity. I really didn't get that many carries, but had a pretty good game there. A lot of offense this one. I mean, it was 4 total interceptions, and the offenses were still able to put up that many points. There's a lack of defense in football today, let me tell you. So, big-time win for the Raiders. They got their first win. I think the Browns kind of got robbed from one at the end there. That's unfortunate, but officials are deciding more games than the players these days, and they really like it. I'll tell you that. They really like the control they have, and I believe that. Seahawks and Cardinals. Cardinals just can't get a win. Another one they should have won, but they just don't. 20-17 was your final. Chris Carson's out. Then I figured they'd go Penny, but they go Mike Davis. Cardinals' run defense is not good. Mike Davis runs all over them. Other than the run defense, Cardinals' defense isn't bad, I'd say. The run defense is bad, but the rest of it, it's okay. They got some playmakers. But really, in this one, well, Rosen, I don't think he had a good game. I don't think he had a bad game. It was his first start, so, he was smart at times. Was there a bad snap? He ended up getting it and throwing out of bounds. It was pretty good. It's not a good thing, obviously, but, you like to see it, being smart, with not much time to think. So you like to see that. He's got a bright future, but he needs some better weapons. Pretty much at the end of the game here, other players that had a good game. David Johnson had a ridiculous game, I thought, but moving on. At the end of the game, Cardinals have a chance. They go for the field goal, and unfortunately they miss it. Cardinals thing this year. Seahawks get the ball back, and I don't know if it was me. They kind of acted like they were winning the game. It was like let's run, quick pass here and there. Let's let the clock run. There's not too much time, and then let's have Janikowski kick a 52. We don't want him to kick a 40. We don't want him to kick a 30. We want to kick does he like the further ones? That's what it was like. He makes it, and at the end of the day, I'm questioning it at the time, but at the end of the day, they won the game, and I'm kind of going back, and the Cardinals' weakness is the short stuff. It's the run game, so maybe the Seahawks just stuck to their game plan, and it worked, and they're confident they can hit a long field goal. So at the end of the day, it looks good, but at the time while it was happening, I thought, do they know that they got to go win this game? Are they playing for overtime? It was a little weird. But stick to the game plan, win the game. Another win for the Seahawks. Pretty impressive. Very, very slow start. Looked bad. They got 2 wins in a row. That's pretty good. And then Larry Fitzgerald's crack block. Anybody see that? That was beautiful. Just, I don't know what defender it was. He just, I think it was later in the game. He just crack blocked him into the dirt. You just like to see Larry do that. But that brings us back to the crack block. You always question if that should be allowed. It's always been allowed. It's a block in the side, and it's kind of his blind side. You can't really tell that he's coming. Somebody's got to call it out for him. But that kind of brings us back to the Eagles-Titans thing. You know, crack blocks are allowed. I think crack blocks are a little dirtier than that, but they've always been allowed. I don't really think they need to be. It's not number one priority that they need to fix crack blocks. They've always been in the game. So I think it's a similar situation to that. So I know there is people complaining about that no call for the Eagles game, but it's an interesting topic. You know, if you call it, I'm complaining more if you call it. I think it's a good no call. Yeah, I think you're trying to control the game like the refs. You know, they want to control the game. They're trying to do it too much, even more. Saints and the Giants, 33-18, kind of as expected here. It took a little bit for the Saints to get rolling. You know, Drew Brees didn't have that great of a game. Still put up 33 points. Did good enough. Really, Alvin Kamara on this one. Yeah, he had a hell of a game. You know, tackling's not too good for the Giants. The Giants always notice there's no angle. There's no good angled tackles. Always take terrible, terrible angles. I don't know where the safeties are at. Landon Collins might as well play linebacker. You know, I'm not a huge fan of Landon Collins. He might as well play linebacker. He really, I mean, he's a good football player, but you might as well play a linebacker. I know they do have him lined up. I think on that last Kamara run, I think he was lined up in the box and come from the other side. So I mean, what are you gonna do? But you might as well play him at line. I think he is a linebacker, to be honest. And there's some safeties that play kind of that hybrid type thing, but really, at the end of the day, the Giants don't have enough offense, as we predicted. I think it was a pretty clear one. Saints, I don't know if they even played like Drew Brees didn't play the best of his ability. They still scored 33 points. There was one earlier. I was watching the Red Zone channel at this point, so I saw this play live, and they kind of flipped it off. But B.J. Hill got a sack. The rookie at NC State got a sack on Drew Brees. I don't know who the receiver was. Like I said, if they kind of went to a different game right after that. But Drew Brees had somebody wide open. He could have punted the ball up in the air, and it could have landed him like a punt return, and he still would have scored. There was nobody even in the area on defense. It is weird to see Drew Brees miss that. That's really the only thing I thought of that. You know, I don't know who. Maybe a Saints fan can help me out here. Giants fan. Anybody that watched that whole game, what receiver that was, and maybe you saw it too. He was wide open. How did Drew Brees miss him? I know he was getting pressured, but you know, it's something he usually sees. But there's only one play, so no big deal. Good win for the Saints, 33 points. Good job there. Last 4 games, Niners and the Chargers. Chargers scared the Chargers fans probably were pretty scared in this one. They looked like they were going to lose this game. Started off a little slow. Phillip had a bad pick early on that kind of led to that. But they came back. The better team won. They started off a little slow. Better team won here. Beathard wasn't bad. You know, you could see worse happening, but he had 2 picks there. One really wasn't his fault. I think it was Derwin James. Derwin James is an animal. How did they get him that late? What a draft pick. I mean, it was the obvious one. It was an obvious one. He was a top-tier player in that draft class. I remember, I don't know if anybody was with us during the draft. I did a fan-voted mock draft. Everyone voted pick by pick who the team would pick, and then I ended up making a video out of it at the end once we were done, and I kind of evaluated your guys' picks, and you guys somehow had Derwin James dropping the Chargers, and I kind of bashed everyone for that. It's like, no way he's going to be there. I don't know what you guys are thinking. The Chargers ended up getting him, and it's just an absolute steal. He's rookie of the year so far. Heck of a game there. Yeah, you know, you can't really put too much blame on Beathard. Just unfortunate injuries for the Niners. I think they have Staley out of the game, McGlinchey hurt. Yeah, a couple more injuries to add on to it. Just unfortunate. You know, it sucks really to be some of the fans of these teams that are just have unfortunate injuries. But you know, Chargers come back. Melvin Gordon finally got some yards on running the ball. You know, was getting the touchdowns, but wasn't really getting the yards. Finally got it going. So, good comeback, good win for the Chargers. It's going to be rough for the Niners, I think, going forward. But they showed they can stay in games. Chargers got a good football team. They can stay in games even without the unfortunate injuries. So, Yeah, I think during our live stream, somebody was asking if they should drop George Kittle. I hope you didn't drop George Kittle. He had himself a day. Um, yeah, I think I mentioned in a live stream that there's really no one else to get, I imagine, so you shouldn't drop him. So hopefully they didn't drop him because he had a good day. Beathard likes him. Ravens and Steelers. Ravens got themselves a defense. This is the other I was talking about. There's not too many defenses left. The Ravens, let's just forget about the Bengals game, all right? The Bengals got a good offense. That was home in Cincinnati on Thursday night, and the Ravens looked a little gassed early in the season. Understandable. Let's forget about it. Good teams always have maybe 1 to 3 games where they don't look themselves. I think the Ravens are a good team. So I think we can forget about the Bengals one. Weird to see the Steelers only scoring 14 points. It is the Ravens defense. And I'm a big Jimmy Smith fan. I think he's their best player before he got hurt last year, and he's not even back yet. He's coming back this week. So that's something. And their secondary is playing good. Jefferson with that strip, that was a great strip. Good play. He knew what he was doing there. Just to hold him to 14 points, very impressive. Flacco had some good throws early. Brown was too fast for the Steelers secondary. That's the Steelers defense a little rough. Red zone was pretty good. The Ravens got to do better in that area. They need to turn those field goals into touchdowns. With Tucker had himself a day, obviously, with all those field goals. But this game really wasn't this close. I don't think. The Flacco missed Crabtree on that third down, wide open, good route, wide open. Crabtree maybe could use a little more speed, but that's really on Flacco. But very, very close. The throw that he usually makes, and that was a touchdown. Alex Collins fumbles at the 1 yard line. The Steelers were fortunate this wasn't worse than what it was. Big Ben, I think, was having a decent game. I think the Ravens' defense was just too good. That throw to Antonio Brown was a great throw, better catch. But that last pick, that pick that Roethlisberger threw, he was kind of looking one way, and the second he turned and looked the other way, he threw it when it was just traffic and right to the guy. So I don't know about that. Maybe you were kind of desperate at that point. Really, Ravens defense is the MVP of this game. Impressive. Flacco played pretty good. We got to turn those field goals into touchdowns. Brown was too fast. I mentioned that. Steelers secondary. And Steelers need some help on defense, really. So, Snead, there was receivers that the Ravens picked up. They're not the big-name receivers, but they're playing pretty well. A guy like Snead's playing pretty solid. So, big plays for him. Good game there. And then my score prediction, I think it was 30-20 originally, so slight change, 28-20. There's some people that are non-Broncos fans out there that are really confident about the Broncos winning this game. Do they have enough offense? I think it's just it's a elite offense versus a pretty darn good defense. Maybe. We still don't really know. It's a good defense, but is it as good as it once was? I'm taking the offense in today's NFL. And you may say, I kind of took that in the Bucs-Bears game, but the Bucs offense is nowhere near as good as the Chiefs. We still didn't know if they were pretend or not, if Fitzpatrick was pretend or not. And that Bucs defense is so easy to score on too, and the Bears are good game plan, figuring things out. So I think it's a little different. I'm taking the offense over the defenses most times this year, depending on who the offense and who the defense is. But then the thing is, I don't know if Keenum's going to score that many points on the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is on the weaker side. We're going to learn a lot tonight. We're going to learn a lot. We're starting to learn a lot about a lot of these teams. Some are going back to our original predictions, what we thought of them. So it's kind of going back to normal in some situations, but it's still a crazy year, a lot of surprising stuff, and we're starting to learn about those new teams. So these predictions should get better and better as the season goes on. We're learning here. So that's going to do it for this one. The bye week was Redskins and Panthers. They'll be back, obviously, playing next week. Next week's bye are the Bucs and the Bears. That's your recap. Week 4. Still got Monday night to play. We got on Tuesdays, we have college football predictions. Great week of college football this past week. Great week. A lot of fun watching those games. And NFL predictions Tuesday nights with the boys. My favorite video of the week. A lot of fun. We're going to do MLB playoff predictions. We're going to do NBA season predictions. So more than just NFL here at Frogs Angels. We got you covered. So the MLB playoff predictions got to be coming up in a day or so. We're thinking about doing our NBA season predictions on the live stream. Every Friday night we have live streams. We're thinking about doing it there. Keep you posted on that. We got score predictions throughout the week. We got power rankings, plenty of NFL coverage. Again, like I said, live streams on Friday. We're partnered with FanDuel now. Links in the description. Go click on them. If you're going to play FanDuel, if you plan on it, if you already do, please use our links if you like our channel. It'll help us, and it'll help our channel grow, so we much appreciate it. You can do Gridiron Pick'em. You pick all the games right, you win $10K. Thursday Night Fantasy, I really like a lot. You just pick between the two teams playing on Thursday night. We'll cover that closer to Thursday. So a lot of good stuff going on here. Appreciate everyone watching. Subscriber goals 10K. Help us get there if you can. And then clicking the like button, we much appreciate it as well. But that's going to do it for this one. Stay tuned for plenty more videos to come covering all sports here at Frogs and Angels. That's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.